My dear shareholder friends, good afternoon. I know some of you have signed in from different parts of the world where it may be morning or late evening, so greetings of the day to all of you. I hope you and your loved ones are safe and taking good care amid the global pandemic. Thank you very much for attending the annual general meeting. I am Anand Deshpande, founder, chairman, and managing director of Persistent Systems Limited. And on behalf of all of us, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the 31st annual general meeting of the company. I am present here in an empty Bhimsen Joshi auditorium in our Hinjawadi office complex. On stage here with me, I have Mr. Pradeep Bhargav, independent director, and Mr. Amit Atre, our company secretary. We are all maintaining social distancing, and all other directors have joined this meeting online. We are hosting this meeting through video conferencing in accordance with the circulars issued by the MCA and SEBI. We want to do our best to make this meeting as engaging and as normal as possible, and would like you to participate in the meeting like you always do. This year, you can interact with us through video conferencing, through the Q&A box on your screen, or through the Twitter. We are tracking the Twitter handle, #PersistentAGM2021 for today's meeting. The Persistent handle on Twitter is @PersistentSys. Shareholders can attend this meeting by following the procedures given in the AGM notice available on our homepage at www.persistent.com/investors. Most of you must have already voted on the resolutions. Those of you who have not had the opportunity to do so can vote until 30 minutes from the end of this meeting till 6:30 p.m. IST. As many members who have joined this meeting and as quorum is present, I declare that the meeting has commenced. I will now request all directors to introduce themselves. To facilitate this process, I will call on them one by one. Let me start with the executive directors. We have with us Executive Director and CEO, Mr. Sandeep Kalra.
Thank you, Anand. Good afternoon, good morning to all of you, depending on where you're joining from. I am Sandeep Kalra, Executive Director and CEO, Persistent Systems, attending this meeting from our offices in Pune, India. I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you for our AGM. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandeep. Let me now invite Executive Director and Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Sunil Sapre.
Hello everyone, this is Sunil Sapre here. Greetings of the day. And I hope all of you are keeping well. Welcome to our 31st AGM, and I look forward to your thoughts and suggestions as we interact during the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunil. Now continuing further, now with the non-executive and independent directors, let me now invite independent director and chairman of the audit committee and the risk management committee, Mr. Praveen Kadle.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Praveen Kadle. I am Independent Director, and as I was introduced by Anand, I am the Chairman of the Audit and the Risk Management Committee. I am attending this meeting from my office in Mumbai. I welcome all of you. Thank you.
Next, let me invite Independent Director and Chairman of the Nominations and Remuneration Committee and the Chairman of the Corporate Social Responsibility Committee, Mr. Pradeep Bhargav.
Greetings to all of you. I am Pradeep Bhargav, been associated for Persistent over the last few years, and I want to mention my respect and fondness for Persistent has grown over the years. I want to welcome you for this wonderful meeting, though online, but feelings are real.
Thank you, Pradeep. Let me now invite Independent Director and the Chairman of the Stakeholders Relationship Committee, Padma Shri, Professor Deepak Phatak.
Namaste, good afternoon and good morning to all. I am Professor Deepak Phatak, a teacher from IIT Bombay, an independent director and chairman of Stakeholders Relationship Committee. I welcome you all for this meeting. I am attending this meeting from Powai, Mumbai since 3:30 p.m. Please take care and stay safe during these COVID pandemic times. Namaste.
Thank you very much, Professor Phatak. Signing in from Singapore, we have Independent Director, Mrs. Roshni Bakshi.
Namaste to all of you. I'm Roshni Bakshi, Independent Director. I truly welcome you all for the shareholder meeting. It is a pity we are all not there in person, but we are there with you in spirit. I'm attending this meeting, as Anand said, from Singapore. Hope each one of you is staying safe. Keep yourself safe till we all meet again.
Signing in from San Jose, California. It's very early in the morning for him. Independent Director, Dr. Anand Jingran.
Thank you, Anand. This is Anand Jingran, Independent Director. As Anand mentioned, I welcome you all to this meeting. I'm attending this meeting from San Jose, California, where it is 3:30 a.m. in the morning. I wish we were having this meeting in person, but I hope all of you are keeping safe and hope to see you all soon. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Anand, for being there very early in the morning. We also have signing in from Dallas, Texas, non-executive, non-independent director, Mr. Thomas Kendra.
Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Like many of our directors have said, I sure wish we all could be together. It's an exciting year for us, but this COVID thing is limiting our capabilities to gather. I hope you're all safe. Hope you stay safe, you and your family. I'm joining from Dallas, Texas. As Anand said, it's about 5:40 a.m. I look forward to an exciting meeting today. Thank you for attending.
Thanks, Tom. It's really good to have you there as well. The final independent director, Mr. Guy Eiferman, had a personal emergency and will be joining the meeting a few minutes late. So we will have him on as soon as he's able to join. Thank you all for your participation. Okay. On this video conference, I would like to acknowledge the presence of Mr. S.P. Deshpande, better known as Dada Deshpande, co-promoter of the company, who has joined us from his home. Also present on the call, we have from Messrs. Walker, Chandiok and Company, LLP, our statutory auditors, Mr. Shashi Tadwalkar, partner, and Mr. Mayur Jain, manager. From Messrs. Joshi Apte and Company, our tax auditors, we have partners, Mr. C.K. Joshi, Mr. Prakash Apte, Mrs. Tejashree Joshi, and Mr. Kaustubh Deshpande. Helping us conduct this meeting today and joining us online, we have Mrs. Pallavi Salunke of Messrs. PVS and Associates, secretarial auditors for the company for the financial year 2021. They have also been appointed as the scrutinizers for e-voting at this meeting. And we have Mr. Ashok Gupta of Messrs. Link in Time India, registrar and share transfer agent of the company. I'd like to thank you all for joining this annual meeting and helping us conduct this meeting. I'm going to now request Amit Atre, our company secretary, to share with you some useful information about today's video conferencing setup so that you have a delightful experience in this meeting. Amit?
Thank you, Anand. And let me also welcome all the members. let me take you through some instructions to facilitate your participation in today's annual general meeting through video conferencing. All members joining this meeting will be put on mute by the moderator to avoid any background noise and to ensure smooth and seamless conduct of this meeting. Some of you have expressed an interest to speak and ask questions in this meeting. You must have received a link to participate as a speaker. If you want to speak in today's meeting and have not received a speaker link, please write to us at investors@persistent.com, sharing your desire to be the registered shareholder, a registered speaker, and we will send you a speaker link. You must be registered and signed in as a speaker to speak in this meeting. You will be able to interact with us by typing in your questions in the Q&A box anytime during this meeting. You may also ask your questions on Twitter with #PersistentAGM2021. Once the Q&A session starts, we will announce the name of the shareholders who are in the queue to ask questions. Speaker shareholder will be unmuted sequentially by us. When it is your turn, you are requested to click on Video On button so that you are visible to the audience. If for some reason you are not able to join through the video mode, you may choose to speak through the audio only mode. While speaking, we request you to use a headset for better audio clarity and ensure that you have adequate lighting and internet bandwidth for clear video quality. If there is any connectivity problem at the speaker's end, we will ask the next speaker to join. You will be added back to the queue and you will be called again to speak when other speakers complete their turn. We request the speakers to be crisp and to limit their speech to 3 minutes. Please note that the company reserves the right to limit the number of members asking questions depending on the availability of time at the AGM. The company has provided this facility to cast the votes electronically on all resolutions set forth in the notice. Members who have not had an opportunity to cast their vote electronically and who are participating in this meeting will have an opportunity to cast their votes during the meeting through e-voting system provided by NSDL up to 30 minutes after the end of the meeting. That is, till 6:30 p.m., assuming that the meeting will end by 6 p.m. IST. The end time of the e-voting facility will be adjusted accordingly to the actual time of end of the meeting. Members are requested to refer to the instructions provided in the AGM notice and also appearing on the video conferencing page for a pleasant experience of participating in this AGM through video conferencing. During the AGM, in case any member faces any difficulty, they may reach out to us through the helpline numbers mentioned in the AGM notice. Thank you, and I hand this back to the chairman.
Thank you, Amit. I would like to inform the members that the annual report for the financial year 2021, the notice of AGM and addendum to the notice of AGM, the register of members, the register of directors and key management personnel, the shareholder register of directors and key management personnel, the register of contracts or arrangements in which directors are interested, the certificate from the statutory auditors regarding implementation of ESOP schemes, and copies of the newspaper advertisement about video conferencing facility and the AGM are available online for inspection by the members during this meeting. All these documents are available online and are located on the company website under the Investor section. They are also available on the NSDL website. As the meeting is being held through video conferencing, the facility for appointment of proxies by the members is not applicable, and hence the proxies register is not available for inspection. Let me now invite our Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer, Sandeep Kalra, to share highlights of the year. Sandeep, over to you.
Good morning, good afternoon, and namaste to all of you. We sincerely hope you and your loved ones have remained safe and healthy amidst the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. It's a pleasure to be with you today and to have the opportunity to share our perspectives on financial year 21 gone by. Financial year 21 was a challenging year for all of us. However, as it is said, during the toughest of times, individuals and organizations demonstrate true character and earn higher degrees of trust, building strength for the longer term. I am proud to say Team Persistent achieved just this. As Anand mentioned, our team came together as one to ensure the well-being of our employees, their families, and our local communities. I want to sincerely thank all the individuals across Persistent who contributed their time, energy, and support to their colleagues to help them deal with the impact of COVID. We proudly call them Persistent Warriors. We'll share a bit more on our efforts here later in the AGM agenda. Fortunately, with the support of so many across the organization, as well as the Persistent Foundation, we were able to put everything we had into ensuring business continuity for not just our company, but more importantly for our clients. Coming on to the work we did for our clients. Being there for our clients, helping them survive and thrive during this time was extremely rewarding and invigorating for all of us. We proactively worked with our clients across industries to tackle their toughest digital challenges and turned them into opportunities, and in many cases, even competitive advantages for them. To give you examples, we helped banks and insurance companies reinvent their applications, infrastructure, and processes for greater agility, taking full advantage of automation, data, AI, and cloud. We worked with healthcare companies to design and deliver new digital experiences that enhance patient engagement right on the front lines of the pandemic. We worked with leading software companies to transform and optimize their operations and systems to reduce costs while helping them channelize these savings into accelerated product development, facilitating newer growth and avenues of revenue. Finally, we help with telco companies streamlining engineering to drive greater innovation, efficiency, and resiliency across their products and platforms. Through these initiatives, our long-standing relationships were further fortified and many new relationships were formed. As a result, our partner status was elevated in many of our top accounts, opening up newer opportunities for us to create value for our clients. At the same time, we saw our digital engineering expertise and technology leadership fuel an accelerated demand for our services, and our deal sizes continued to increase. To effectively capitalize on all this, we established a strong, large deal team and pervasive focus across all enabling functions to support our growth. In addition, we improved on our channels of engagement with our prospects, from higher touch collaboration with advisors and private equity organizations to digital connections through our new website. This large deal engine will no doubt be an enabler of our growth for many years to come. To highlight just a few of these larger deals for your reference, we recently signed a 5-year, multi-million-dollar digital engineering and go-to-market partnership with one of our largest software and high-tech clients. This covers their security portfolio and brings an exciting long-term engagement to our NVT-based revenue addition. A leading financial services institution selected us as a preferred partner for the consolidation of multiple new programs inherited from some of the earlier vendors around commercial lending, application development, compliance, cloud transformation, and customer data management. For a leading events management and incentive marketing services company, we were chosen to lead the modernization of this software solution, developing a lean and robust next-generation cloud platform. For a unicorn in data virtualization space, we were chosen to set up a global technology center for application development, customer support, and related services to support their global clientele. Now coming on to our financial performance. Through the year of disciplined execution in FY21, We delivered US $566.1 million in annual revenues. This represents an industry-leading 12.9% growth year-on-year in US dollar terms and 17.4% in Indian rupee terms. We continue to improve on our operational rigor and optimize the spend across all our businesses and enabling functions. This helped us deliver significant improvements on our EBIT. We came in at rupees 5075 million and EBIT margin of 12.1%, ending the year with 55.2% plus year-on-year. This performance and market momentum resulted in record high and industry-leading stock performance, bringing significant value to our shareholders and driving our market cap to well over US $2 billion. In addition, our stock performance has been one of the healthiest in the industry despite the pandemic, and we have remained a leader among small and large cap Indian origin as well as global IT services organizations. We remain on a steady trajectory towards our billion-dollar goal, and I could not be more proud of our Persistent team. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandeep. This was a difficult year, and the strong financial performance and growth would not have been possible without the COVID support initiatives we established to aid our employees, their families, and our communities. Especially important was the Persistent Warriors initiative, where volunteers came together to help and support those affected by COVID. The spirit of volunteerism exemplifies the best of Persistent culture and values. I'm very proud of the team. I must also commend the great work done by Persistent Foundation. When the company committed rupees 25 crores for COVID relief, the foundation team stepped up and went above and beyond to support activities in the communities where we operate. I would now like to invite Samir Bendre, our Chief People Officer, to share how his team coordinated COVID support initiatives for our employees. And following Samir, Sonali Deshpande, Chairperson of Persistent Foundation, will elaborate on COVID-19 relief efforts beyond Persistent's boundaries. Samir, over to you.
Thank you, Anand. Warm wishes and greetings to everyone who has connected with us today on the 31st Annual General Body Meeting. Last year was a remarkable year and a difficult year too. While it forced all of us to adapt to new realities, which we did courageously, we also lost few of our colleagues as they battled through COVID. I take this moment on behalf of the entire Persistent family to pay our respect to all such employees and their families. As we make headway into FY22, even with the pandemic as an omnipresent backdrop, we shall remember it as an year which had far-reaching impact on all of us. Driven by our values and philosophy of employees first, customer always, our focus was on employee and customer centricity, which was at an all-time high. We implemented 100% work from home policy for our entire global employee base. More than 97% were enabled to work from home within the first 2 or 3 weeks of the pandemic, which is certainly commendable. Employees who were stranded across international borders during this time were extended all the help beyond company policies for their safe return and uniting with their families. Flexible policies like leave donation, advance leave, internet allowance were implemented. Varied engagement programs were rolled out to ensure healthy lifestyle and well-being of all employees. This included activities ranging from spreading awareness, ensuring safety and hygiene at office facilities, multiple virtual connect programs for employees to retain and build their social networks at work, which act as strong support systems. We also successfully enhanced the insurance coverage, including COVID-19 Mediclaim insurance on top of our regular coverage. Persistent Employee Benefit Trust was available. It extended 0% interest loans during medical emergencies available to employees, immediate family members, parents, and in laws. Money generated was stopped by executive management. Additionally, we implemented annuity for surviving family members of those lost to COVID, equaling 1 year's salary. Extended medical insurance of dependents for 2 years. This helped to ease the immediate financial burdens and helped prepare families for financial independence in time. During these challenging hours, one team stood strong and took charge to assure the health and safety of our employees. We call this team Persistent Warriors. Taking this moment to applaud our Persistent Warrior, comprising of teams from HR, the Persistent Foundation, and admin. Truly appreciate the zeal with which this team took up the mission of helping employees and their families struggling with COVID. The team offered extensive support, ranging from finding testing facilities, tracking availability of beds, ventilators, and oxygen in hospitals, medicines, providing psychological counseling, and assisting with cremation services. Thank you to the Persistent team. We truly commend your selfless contribution for going above and beyond your call of duty. I am pleased to share that the vaccination drives across all major locations have been organized, and more than 10,000 employees and their family members have been vaccinated. Multiple healthcare initiatives such as online fitness sessions, immunity boosting drinks at office were also introduced. Now, before I hand over to Sonali Deshpande, Chairman of Persistent Foundation, I would like to show you a short video that tells the story of the Persistent Warriors and our vaccination drive program. Thank you.
I would like to thank Persistent for this drive to vaccinate all of us in-house. Last 1 year has been extremely challenging for all of us. The vaccination was a ray of hope for all of us, and getting it was even more challenging. So when Persistent initiated this drive, it became easier for me, my family, and a lot of my friends.
And I was able to vaccinate me and my family with the help of Persistence.
I'm extremely thankful to Persistent to start this initiative that is extending vaccination for family members as well.
But thank you so much, Persistent, for scheduling this vaccination camp. I got vaccinated, and not just me, I got vaccinated for my family as well.
This is a great initiative of Persistent Systems for its employees and their family members.
Thanks to Persistent family, we got the vaccine in our office itself, and it was a very smooth experience.
Thanks Persistent for this drive.
Thank you Persistent for this initiative.
I would like to thank Persistent from the bottom of my heart for this initiative.
Thank you, Persistent.
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 Good afternoon, dear shareholders of Persistent Systems. On behalf of Persistent Foundation, I am honored to present before you an overview of all our activities during the last year. This past year has truly been unforgettable. The coronavirus pandemic hit the world like a hurricane more than a year ago, and the whole world continues to be in its path of destruction even today. In this difficult situation, it is indeed heartening to see the community come together to face the calamity. Providing medical equipment, hospital consumables, vaccines, and food kits to help the affected people was the need of the hour. This show of unity and collaboration between the corporations and the Indian government has truly been an epitome of the democracy in action. In all this turmoil, I find strength, motivation, and optimism in helping the society to overcome the challenge. In April 2020, Persistent Systems declared a contribution of 25 crore rupees towards COVID relief measures to be distributed worldwide. The foundation in India received 20 crores to be spent across 5 locations. This COVID fund has been extremely crucial in providing timely help and relief to innumerable individuals and their families in these turbulent times. We provided cooked meals, food kits, and medical aid. Let me attempt to relate the impact of our relief measures over the last 16 months. Since April 2020 to the present day, we have provided 100 oxygen concentrators, which helped more than 10,000 patients increase and maintain their oxygen levels. 36 ventilators helped more than 5,000 patients win their battle with the disease. High-flow oxygen machines, multi-para monitors, and others have significantly contributed in saving precious lives. 25,000 PPE kits and other consumables were distributed to 14 hospitals and 20 NGOs to protect doctors and nurses while attending to COVID patients. We also helped set up 10 COVID care centers across 5 cities, thus helping treat 2,500 people and providing the centers with necessary equipment for patient isolation. A disinfection drive was done in 3 heavily populated areas in the heart of Pune city with a high positivity rate. This benefited 25,000 residents to stay safe. Daily requirements of medicines, raincoats, and hygiene kits were given to 8,000 waste pickers in Pune to help them survive this difficult situation. In collaboration with the Pune Municipal Corporation, a mobile vaccination drive was conducted for people in the urban slums. They say charity begins at home. We were able to provide COVID insurance to the housekeeping and security staff of Persistent along with their families, thus taking care of more than 5,000 people. In total, our efforts touched the lives of more than 65,000 individuals. We also provided 30,000 cooked meals, 19,000 food kits with rations lasting up to 2 months for a family of 5, thus reaching out to more than 1 lakh people, including migrant workers, orphans, families of hearing impaired children, commercial sex workers, transgender individuals, and others. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Samir and Sonali. Your teams did an amazing job, and we couldn't have done this without your great leadership. To support our financial growth, we welcomed over 3,000 new employees to the Persistent family. We also invested in bringing in new senior talent across functions that help build the organization's muscle for the years to come. And finally, we acquired CapYard, a leader in enterprise integration. All of this brought our total employee base to 13,680 as on 31st March 2021. And we continue to grow in the current fiscal year too. I would now request Samir Bendre to share more about our journey in attracting new talent to Persistent and the transformation of our learning and development function. Samir, over to you.
Thank you, Anand. As you rightly said, over the past year, we have grown with 3,000 new employees across geographies. We are confident that together we shall continue our momentum of growth and success. Let me give a glimpse on the talent infusion front. I must acknowledge that talent availability has grown to be highly challenging. However, we have successfully implemented multiple methodical and systemic initiatives towards recruitment and upskilling of our workforce. On the recruitment front, we ramped up our hiring through multiple engines. This included effective use of the employee referral programs, fresh grad hiring, hiring from premium management institutes, customized internship programs, and partnering with the engineering institutes by creating communities of excellence in different subjects on their virtual campuses. We infused high potential talent from top-notch tier 1 institutes across levels in the organization. Strategic hiring for key positions strengthened our leadership team. Focused development programs with an objective of creating talent pipeline internally was also undertaken. We digitized the overall employee induction process. Anytime, anywhere onboarding model was implemented to induct new employees in the system round the clock, each one with work from home enablement from day one. Our learning and development initiatives included creating an immersive learning experience in close collaboration with our strategic customers. We cater to current and future talent needs through well-designed skilling programs using world-class content. Series of boot camps were organized to upskill and cross-skill our employees to increase breadth and depth of technical capabilities. Account-specific competency development and focused project readiness programs for strategic accounts were conducted, all online. Large e-content bank with more than 500 e-learning courses were made available on the learning management system. These recruitment and learning actions have helped us serve our customers better while ensuring that our employees remain relevant in the ever-changing technology world. Thank you for your attention. Over to you, Sandeep.
Thank you, Samir. Clearly, this infusion of talent is bolstering our core strengths in digital engineering and enterprise modernization, and expanding our service line capabilities to go deeper in the industries we serve. While the war for talent is on, I've been very pleased with our ability to attract some of the best digital engineering talent in the market and to continuously upskill our existing team members through the Persistent University. Now, coming on to our partnership ecosystem. In an effort to maximize value for our clients beyond Persistent's core expertise and talent pool, we work closely with our partners to define new compelling solutions for our joint customers. As an example, we partnered with Salesforce to accelerate healthcare digital front door and patient engagement initiatives. We came together with AWS, Mambu, Salesforce, FinMarket, and others to offer transformational digital banking solutions for mid-sized banks and credit unions. We deepened our partnership with Microsoft, IBM, and Red Hat to accelerate hybrid and multi-cloud adoption. We worked with OutSystems, Appian, and other automation partners to design and develop enterprise-grade applications in weeks, not months, not years. Finally, we welcomed DataStax to our strategic partner community to help our clients modernize their enterprise applications. Whether it is our client centricity, deep digital engineering expertise, and growing partner ecosystem, or our relentless focus on operational and delivery excellence, various stakeholders in our ecosystem took notice. We won many awards throughout the year from different IT analysts, advisors, and industry associations. However, we are most proud to have won the coveted ISG 2020 Star of Excellence for BFSI and healthcare life sciences industries globally, along with North America and Asia Pacific as geographies. This award is particularly meaningful to all of us at Persistent as it is the direct result of feedback received by ISG from over 100 plus Persistent clients globally. Coming on to ESG, we know success is not a standalone concept. It is about creating long lasting value while striking the right balance across environmental, social, and governance goals for a diverse set of direct and indirect stakeholders. As a part of our efforts to safeguard the environment, reducing our carbon footprint by sourcing energy from renewable sources like solar and wind energy, we commissioned a new rooftop solar plant in one of our buildings that generates 1.2 megawatt electricity, thereby reducing approximately 6,000 tons of CO2 per year. We also installed two windmills that would each generate 2.1 megawatt electricity. We launched a program to plant more than 50,000 trees. With reduced travel, the carbon footprint improved. We are further working on ways to get to net zero soon. Our efforts were recognized with the Excellence in Sustainability Award by Infra for the year 2020-2021. As a responsible organization, it is central to our values to give back to our community. Through Persistent Foundation, we continue to support various CSR initiatives focusing on three pillars of education, health, and community development. We believe in exceeding the highest standards of corporate governance. We are constantly on a journey of finding innovative ways to improve our business conduct. Our management at Persistent is fully committed to implementing the best practices in corporate governance to ensure transparency, accountability, and integrity. We were honored with Golden Peacock Award for Excellence in Corporate Governance this year in the IT sector category. The annual Golden Peacock Awards are now recognized as a benchmark for corporate excellence worldwide. It is truly an honor to be recognized for excellence in corporate governance by such a prestigious institution as the Institute of Directors, India. At Persistent, we strive to be the best at everything we do. So this is an important validation of our efforts to create a world-class global organization. Starting 2021, we'll be putting together a cohesive program that reviews and tracks the progress we have made so far in our sustainability journey. As we chart our future path and ambitions, we're developing a long-term ESG strategy and goals for Persistent. We intend to establish these clear ESG targets as our ESG Ambition 2030 by focusing on the right issues to create the most impact over the longer term. I'd now like to ask Sonali to share more details on the progress we have made within our CSR programs led by Persistent Foundation. Sonali, over to you.
Thank you, Sandeep. The foundation was able to carry out the regular CSR projects this year. The COVID pandemic did slow down the pace of work in the beginning, but picked up speed in September, and we were able to achieve most of the targets that we had set. In the health vertical, we were able to fund 456 facial cleft and palate surgeries, 684 cataract surgeries, 40 pediatric surgeries, 184 individuals were helped with Jaipur foot, 50 patients for kidney dialysis sessions, and 25 girls were given training in nursing, and these girls, after finishing their training, were immediately deployed to various hospitals. In the education vertical, we onboarded 42 girls under the Kiran Girls Scholarship Program. I am happy to inform that one of these girls was supported by our very own CFO, Sunil Sapre. It was also a proud moment for us to see 39 girls from the graduating class of 2020 being recruited by big companies like Accenture, Barclays, Bank of America, IBM, Amdocs, Citibank, Dell, and 3 girls in Persistent. We provided LAN connectivity to 3 schools, helping 135 students to attend virtual classes. We also provided 1,600 school kits to students across 4 cities. 100 students benefited from a reading-writing improvement program. This consisted of audio stories to improve listening comprehension, math puzzles, riddles, grammar worksheets, and many more. As a result of these interventions, we were able to impact the lives of 5,000 students. In the area of community development, we were able to plant 4,000 trees and constructed 3 open wells. This solved the drinking water problem for 3 villages consisting of 2,000 individuals. The stored water capacity increased to 30 lakh liters of water, which lasted for 3 months more than the usual. We helped 65 farmers to cultivate and maintain 330 hectares of land by building bunds and trenches to trap and retain water. The result, 9 crore liters of water was retained and an extra crop cultivated, which resulted in extra income for the farmers. Training was provided to 350 farmers for making silage. These farmers were able to prepare more than 3,000 metric tons of silage for 1,500 cattle and also saving more than 2 crore of rupees for themselves in the process. The Livestock Center project yielded an excellent number of female calves born through artificial insemination. This was a brief summary of the foundation activities in the last year. To close, I would like to say that we are truly blessed to have such a dynamic and visionary chairman, an inspiring CEO, encouraging board members, supportive and motivating trustees, and very generous colleagues. Each one of them has been a key participant in guiding and mentoring us during the planning and execution of all our projects. We are also grateful for the continuous appreciation of our efforts of the shareholders every year, which has been a pat on the back for me and my team. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to each and every one of you for your constant support and acknowledgement of our work, and give you my assurance of continued dedication and commitment to the cause of CSR. I'm also grateful to the team for giving me this opportunity to share the work done by the foundation in the areas of CSR and COVID relief. Thank you very much and have a good evening. And now handing it back to Sandeep to take the proceedings forward.
Thank you, Sonali. The work the Persistent Foundation does has been so very inspirational for all of us and has helped so many through these difficult times. As we look towards our billion-dollar journey in annual revenue, we remain bullish on the market demand for our services, our ability to deliver superlative value to our clients, and expect continued digital acceleration across the enterprise and the software businesses we serve. Each organization, unique in their own way, is pushing their modernization agenda faster and driving innovation across their businesses and IT landscape to operate more efficiently and to better interact with their customers. In support of this client agenda, Persistent is now creating value along a continuum of needs that are pervasive across industries. We imagine new products, platforms, and solutions. We engineer these products, platforms, and solutions, leveraging our 30+ years experience in the software and services industry. We modernize legacy software and infrastructure for high performance in the cloud era. Finally, we help our clients manage the above with speed, flexibility, and accountability. To maximize the potential of this expansive client agenda and to accelerate our path to our billion-dollar journey, we'll focus on what has worked for us. First, leveraging our enhanced resilience will continue to drive disciplined execution, market-leading delivery excellence, and a sense of urgency unmatched in the market. We'll also establish new levels of enterprise analytics and intelligence to further improve on our operations, business planning, and workforce optimization. Second, relationships have always been at the forefront of our approach to business. We'll continue to expand our client centricity initiatives and will collaborate extensively with our partners to bring even greater innovation to market. In addition, we'll put increased efforts in place to strengthen our employee relationships across the life cycle, from recruiting and ongoing engagement to learning and talent development. Finally, we'll continue to reinvent ourselves, building on our existing talent pool through a variety of organic and inorganic initiatives, including enhanced focus on M&A in the cloud space, as well as in other strategic areas of our business and geographic markets. In addition, we are investing in new facilities and centers of excellence that will support enhanced client delivery and skills development in key areas like Salesforce, cloud, automation, amongst others. In summary, we exited financial year 21 a stronger and more confident Team Persistent. Our journey towards the next phase of building Persistent has just begun. We remain bullish on our prospects for the future. We are very thankful to our Persistent family, partners, and clients, and will continue to value and nourish these relationships. I would also like to personally thank each one of you, our shareholders. Without your continued belief, support, and patience, we wouldn't be where we are today. We'll continue to strive our best to meet and surpass your expectations in the future. Thank you for participating in the AGM once again. I'll now hand it over back to Anand. Anand, over to you.
Thank you, Sandeep. Now I proceed to the statutory business of this meeting. The notice convening the 31st Annual General Meeting, its addendum, the Director's Report, and the audited financial statements for the year ended March 31, 2021 have been with you for some time. Therefore, I take them as read. As there are no qualifications or observations in the auditor's report to the consolidated and standalone financial statements for the year ended March 31, 2021, they are not required to be read. The secretarial audit report has been with you for some time. Therefore, I take the same as read. We now proceed to consider the business forming part of the AGM notice. I wish to inform you that the first 4 resolutions are proposed as ordinary businesses being voted as ordinary resolutions. I will read them out one by one. Ordinary businesses. To receive, consider and adopt the audited unconsolidated financial statements for the financial year ended March 31st, 2021. Reports of the Board of Directors and auditors thereon. Number 2, to receive, consider and adopt the audited consolidated financial statements for the financial year ended March 31st, 2021. Number 3, to confirm the payment of the interim dividend of rupees 14 per equity share and declare a final dividend of rupees 6 per equity share for the financial year 2021. Number 4, to appoint a director in place of Mr. Sandeep Kumar Kalra, resident of New Jersey, USA, DIN 02506494, Executive Director who retires by rotation and has confirmed his eligibility and willingness to accept the office if reappointed. The next 5 resolutions are proposed as special businesses. I will read them out one by one. Of these, the first special business being voted as an ordinary resolution is as follows. Number 5, to appoint Mr. Sunil Sapre, resident of Pune, India, DIN 06475949, as an executive director of the company, liable to retire by rotation, to hold the office with effect from January 27, 2021 until September 30th, 2024. The next 4 special businesses are being voted as special resolutions. To approve amendments in the Persistent Stock Option Scheme 2014, to grant, just 1 minute. Okay, let me read from 6 onwards. So number 6, to approve amendments in the Persistent Employee Stock Option Scheme 2014. Number 7, to grant employee stock option to the employees of subsidiary companies of Persistent under the Persistent Employee Stock Option Scheme 2014. Shareholders may please note that with regards to resolutions number 6 and 7, the company has issued an addendum to the AGM notice giving clarification about the exercise price. To approve amendments in the Persistent Systems Limited Employee Stock Option Plan 2017. And finally, the 9th resolution to grant employee stock options to the employees of subsidiary companies of the company under Persistent Systems Limited Employee Stock Option Plan 2017. Now that all the proposed resolutions have been read, I now invite the speaker shareholders to ask their questions. We have a list of all the shareholders who have registered themselves as speakers. Our moderators, Sagar Ladda and Rajshri Ahir Rao, will take over the proceedings after a short video.
Reflecting on the last year, there were 3 key attributes to persistent success: resilience, relationships, and reinvention. These 3 themes were a constant for us through these challenging times and will provide the foundation for our future growth. Despite many pressures our employees faced during the pandemic, they remained strong, flexible, and focused.
As we shifted to working from home overnight, it was critical that our people felt connected with each other and persistent. To enable this, our leadership at all levels, including our chairman and founder, CEO and presidents, ensured that we engaged with our employees directly through daily virtual coffee rooms, where we discussed a variety of topics other than work. This unique initiative brought us some normalcy to an otherwise ambiguous and tough time period all of us had. Various workshops brought out the creative side of our employees and ensured that they were engaged positively. Initiatives like Pulse gave a platform to showcase our in-house talent globally. With daily workout sessions and a persistent run, we ensured that fitness was not compromised despite the constraints of the pandemic. To appreciate the efforts of our people, the leadership decided to reward our employees with a resilience gift, which included a backpack, a bottle, and a stole weaved by the artisans of Kashmir. This gift was very well received as it helped our employees connect with the company while they were working from home and to share their appreciation on social media. The highlight of the year was family participation in all the activities which we did. This resulted in a very positive spin and ensured that our employees worked with enhanced resiliency and productivity, helping our company to grow to new heights.
To me, resilience is the ability to adapt quickly and thrive in the face of uncertainty. And that's what we all have done, be it on the personal front, on the persistent front, or on our customers' front. We have all been impacted in some way or the other, and we all face this challenge and have come out stronger than before. On the personal front, we all learn to work together as a family with our kids, our spouses, our parents. We all learn to respect each other's spaces and each other's work, and we thrived. On persistent front, we were able to equip all our employees with laptops, desktops, internet connections, what have you, and make sure that they could focus on their work and not miss a single deliverable. Our focus on customers has been paramount. Our customers reposed their faith in us, and we were able to meet their requirements without missing a single deliverable. And because of that, they have thrived. With the support of our families, our communities, our colleagues, and more importantly, our customers, we quickly adapted to the scenarios imposed by the pandemic, and we have come out stronger. And that, my dear friends, is a testament to our resilience.
Thank you, Anand. Dear shareholders, we will now begin the question and answer session. We have a list of all the shareholders who have already registered themselves as speakers of the meeting. If you would like to speak to, please write to us at investors@persistent.com, sharing your desire to be a registered speaker immediately. We will share the speaker link with you, and this would be essential for you to speak in this meeting. Shareholders are requested to unmute themselves and switch on their camera when their name is announced. When it is your turn to speak, you're requested to click on the video on button so that you're visible to the audience. If, for some reason, you're not able to join through the video mode, you may choose to speak only through the audio mode. Please wait till you see yourself on the screen and then proceed to asking your question. While speaking, we request you to use a headset for better audio clarity. And ensure that you have adequate lighting and internet bandwidth for clear video quality. If there is any connectivity problem at the speaker's end, we will ask the next speaker to join. You will be added back to the queue and you will be called again to speak when other speakers complete their turn. We request the speakers to be crisp and to limit their speech to 3 minutes. Please note that the company reserves the right to limit the number of members asking questions depending on the availability of time at the AGM. With that, our first speaker shareholder for today is Mr. Rishikesh Wagh. Hi. Please go ahead with your question, sir.
Thanks a lot for giving me an opportunity to ask the questions. So, good evening, Chairman, sir, all the board members, and once again, excellent arrangement by Persistent, excellent coordination by CS Amit Atre. I have only one question that is pertaining to the acquisitions. Is company looking for any specific geographies for acquisition of companies?
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Wagh, for your question. It's been noted and will be answered shortly.
Our second speaker shareholder is Mr. Jitendra Mahajan. We'll move to the next speaker. Our next speaker shareholder is Mr. Sudhir Kulkarni. Mr. Kulkarni is also not able to join. We'll move to the next speaker. Our fourth speaker shareholder for the day is Mr. Omkar Ganu.
All the shareholders for asking their queries. My question would be, what are companies' plans to utilize the cash and cash equivalents which are shown in the balance sheet?
Thank you, Mr. Ganu. Your question has been noted.
Our fifth speaker shareholder is Mr. Shashikant Marathe.
Hello.
Hi,
yes,
sir. Good evening.
Please go ahead. I am audible. Sir, I, Shashikant Marathe from Pune, wish our chairman and all attending this e-meeting a very good afternoon and wish you all will follow safety mantra in the state. At the outset, I am happy to note that the performance of the company is aptly contained in its name and there are no glaring issues to be addressed. You have done exceedingly well during pandemic as a result of your 3 decades of casting digital engineering coupled with cloud computing foundation strategy put you ahead of your peers. In this month, 2 towers were erected by the foundation handed over to the Pune police for their personnel, a rare CSR activity by you. You proactively implemented 3 R's key theme, made our employees 3F compliant, that is flexible, focus, and are fighting fit to turn positive results against odds. Their team spirit, rightly described by these employees and clients in difficulty in more than few pages in the annual report. Let me congratulate all those who help you to bag various prestigious award recognitions. Let others follow them and help you to get more such accolades year after year. Your safety record is enviable. We acknowledge with thanks total dividend more by 500 millions on 1920 for the year under report. You help India by achieving a surplus of 174.38 million rupees in foreign exchange. I am extremely happy that you elevated our CFO to the board. This will encourage at least some to fall in line for double promotion. Sunil used to be very friendly and used to converse with me after previous AGMs. Following points need your attention. In view of the work from home culture, how to use total built up area of 115.478 meter cube space. Think of its use under CSR for skill development. Why the company had to proceed liquidation process for its subsidiary. You are hawkish on acquisitions. Still, the date closing cash, 17,700 millions, need to get more returns. Be after IL and FS Group to get something. The haircut was costly and never be after lucrative returns. For my personal knowledge, kindly let me know why different rates in dollars and other things, rupees, are given in the balance sheet and PLN account as well as financial performance. You are rightly stated, change is constant. Why not then equip our R&D by increased funds year after year? All our premises are compliant with highest standards. Utilize them fully to tap solar energy. Though the amount of dividend and number of shares transferred to IEPF are not large, try hard for nil transfer. Sir, I am proud to be a shareholder of this company. Let me admit that I got much more than expected from Persistent. I wish you and all our employees bright prospects. Thank you for allowing me to express my opinions. I am sorry if by my speech I have offended anyone. I apologize for the same. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Marathi sir. The question has been noted.
Our sixth speaker shareholder is Mr. Dinesh Kotecha.
Tom Kandra because they are overseas, and good afternoon to all of you. I am Dinesh Kotecha. My CDSL folio number is 120-189-710-564. Privileged to be a part of this AGM. Sir, See Beyond and Rise Above is the annual report theme. And we have, our performance has justified this more than 100% by the stellar performance that we have achieved in 2021. And the good, fantastic commentary given by Anand Deshpande ji, the beginning, then Sandeep Kalra, Sonali Deshpande, explaining all the COVID measures and the CSR activities and the working of the company. Fantastic commentary. I was very happy to hear all this from you. Sir, Anand Deshpande, happiness is your name, and you are spreading it persistently by good justifying, performing year after year in a better manner, which is bringing bigger smile on our faces. Sir, your journey, and first of all, yes, before I forget, my namaskar to Dada Deshpande, regards to him. I forgot to say that. Dada Deshpande is the founder, pillar of our company, and all of us must pay our humble regards to him first. So my humble regards for him. Sir, your journey began in 1990 and 31 years. Fantastic journey, I think. This year you have distributed a dividend of 14 rupees interim dividend and 6 rupees final dividend. Appreciate it, yes, sir. Very much appreciate it. Now go for a buyback of shares. That is the first thing you must do. Then after that, you must go for a split. And then after that, you must go for a bonus. You will be still able to pay us more dividend than 20 rupees. I'm sure about it. By 35th year, we will be enjoying it, all this, I think. Sir, my first question is, before that, one more comment. What was seen was colorful varieties of masks when your staff was saying thank you. All the masks that they were wearing were very colorful. But I did not see a Persistent logo on their mask. The mask should have that Persistent logo also for the employees when they are sick. That is one small thing which you can look into. So my first question is, how have you or do you look upon and the plans for differentiation during the continued disruption of the last 18 or 20 months? There was continued disruption, COVID. Work is stopping, not stopping, people coming to work, not coming to work, lockdowns and all that. I mean, what crucial commitment, that is the first thing, that is how do we look at it now? Now, there is a rumor that third wave may come. I think we are prepared for it, no doubt about it. Because seeing your performance in the first COVID and the second COVID period, we have improved upon our performance in spite of problems, in spite and despite of all the problems that were there. But again, how do we look upon that particular thing now? If the third COVID phase comes in September, October, as people are saying, how are we going to differentiate ourselves? And what, sir, one other question, what crucial commitments which were to be fulfilled in 2020-21 remained unfulfilled and have been postponed to this current year? Sir, again, what was relevant yesterday is no longer relevant today. What is relevant today may no longer be relevant tomorrow. So how is the company evolving to be relevant tomorrow? And can you give a brief of the immediate next 2 years and beyond that, please? The third question is, what is the company's 2030 aspirations and strategy to achieve it? I'm asking this question for a specific reason. See, our peer companies which are there, like TCS, the face value is 1 rupee. It is quoted at 3,205. Oracle Finance, 5 rupees face value, quoted at 3,960. Company Forge, 10 rupees face value, quoted at 4,541. And we, 10 rupees face value, quoted at 2,800, 2,900. So there is a lot of scope, sir, to reduce the face value and to see that the price goes up. I mean, we have, how do you look at this particular thing, which I am analyzing right now? Sir, can we take our Q4 21 results or combined results of Q3 and Q4 together as the base for the annual plus your annual growth rate of the last 5 years as the result to come into 2022? Our answer should be yes or no. I will do my calculations, sir. You just say the combined results of Q3 and Q4 together or Q4 alone. Will it form a base for the results plus your annual growth rate which you have been achieving for the last 10 years? I mean, will that, if I add that, will that be the results for 22-23? Please tell me that. Now, sir, again, work from home. How many office space is now unutilized because of work from home? And I've seen that, and what percentage of our workforce is working from home right now? Sir, Persistent System Limited, we have backed you and your capabilities, and you have delivered consistent, persistent result in spite of pandemic and despite of all known, unknown difficulties. And I really thank Team Persistent for that. Sir, again, with more balance sheet, even the non-physical form which we see on our laptop is very impressive. But still, I would like to have one physical copy for my library collection. Since the day of the public issue, I am having all the balance sheets of your in physical format in my cupboard. So last week, I would like to end with one small quotation. To succeed uniquely, keep a high energy level, which we have seen that you have kept. Clear focus, align your action with your goals, which you have done. And very agile and fertile, and keep a fertile mind, which you have displayed. And I've always said that that I am a fond shareholder of Persistent Systems Limited. Anand Deshpande and the team and all of you are doing a great job in value creation for the shareholders, and please continue doing it with more vigor, more force, and wish you all the best. And please keep your safety very clear and keep your health good. Thank you very much for patient hearing. Thank you.
Mr. Kotecha, thank you very much for the appreciation and acknowledgement. Your suggestions and questions have been noted. That was our last question for the day. We'll now collate all the questions we have received. And while we do that, here's a short video for you.
Last year strengthened our long-term relationships. It was a visceral reminder that 3 decades of focus on client centricity is a winning strategy.
Relationships are core to our business. Whenever a customer takes that leap of faith with the provider, it is probably not because of the solution or the commercial structure. It is because of the bond that you build or the team built with the customer as they were delivering, demonstrating, or delivering our promise. Just wearing a sales hat does not help. The pandemic further reinforced the need to nurture these relationships, although virtually. Customers prefer to do business with providers that they have worked in the past, that they have trusted, and we at Persistent reap the rewards of the relationships that our teams have built over the last 30 years. In the context of our business, our relationships with 3 distinct customer personas matter: influencers, decision makers, and insiders. Each of them is invaluable in their own respects. The intuition you develop as you build a bond with customers is almost surreal. For me, the sense of fulfillment to see my sponsors succeed was huge, especially if they took a chance on me. It drove me to do more and push my teams and my organizations to deliver more, faster, better, and cheaper. I think it's time to get out there and build some stronger relationships to deliver our $1 billion goal sooner.
For a partner organization, relationships are everything. FY21 started with uncertainty. It was unclear what direction the market and customers would take. And we were questioning if partnerships would still be relevant in the strange new world that we live in. And if they were, would there be a way to maintain these relationships with no face-to-face interaction whatsoever? As I spoke at roundtables of alliance leaders, it became quite clear that everyone had similar concerns. And we all concluded that partnerships would become more relevant, not less, if we were to serve our customers effectively. At Persistent, our partner ecosystem sits at the core of who we are. It is reflected in the innovative solutions we create and the numerous service engagements we deliver on. We doubled down on partnerships, strengthened our partner organization, deepened existing relationships, and forged new alliances. Together, we did more for our customers this past year than ever before. And we will continue to build on that towards our $1 billion journey.
Thank you all for your thoughtful questions. I really miss having these meetings in person because the warmth that we get from our shareholders has always been exemplary. I really appreciate your involvement and participation in the well-being of your company, and thank you for asking all those insightful and thoughtful questions. I must say I do have one of the Persistent branded masks with me, which we've been using, so many of the employees have their own as well. We have collated all the questions. Broadly, these are in 4 categories. One set is around the financial performance of the company and some of the questions that were asked regarding that. I have some questions around COVID and pandemic, work from home, and some of the changes that are likely to come up as we look ahead. One set of questions are around shareholders, basically stock splits and all of that, and we'll answer that as well. And finally, there are some questions on the forward-looking strategy of the company. I'm going to ask Sunil and Sandeep to answer these questions category at a time. We have, of course, heard the people who asked these questions live. We also had several questions that were recorded off Twitter and out of the Q&A box. These have also been aggregated into these 4 categories. Let's get started with the financial questions that I'm going to request our Chief Financial Officer, Sunil Sapre, to answer. Sunil, can you please take on the first set of questions around the financial performance of the company?
And once again, good afternoon to everyone. There was a question raised regarding the liquidation of one of the subsidiaries of the company, Valista Limited, Ireland. So this was arising out of an acquisition that we did in the year 2015. When we did the acquisition, there was a layer of companies that we had inherited. And this particular company was just a holding company and did not have any operations. So after we completed 3 years of performance, we took a call about the use of this company and eliminated one company which was not having any operational performance. And we were satisfied that the other company that was in Ireland will be able to carry on the operations without any holding company in Ireland. The second question on financial items was relating to the rates that are used in balance sheet and profit and loss account. So as you know, the balance sheet is drawn as on date, and hence the exchange rate used for conversion is the rate prevailing on 31st of March 2021, or the last date of the year. Whereas the profit and loss account is for a period, and hence it reflects the average rate for that period. So if it is a quarter, it will be the quarterly average, and then for the year, it will be the full year's average. The third question was relating to the cash on the books, as to how the company plans to utilize the cash. So as you know, we are in an exciting phase of growth, and the market has tremendous opportunities for companies like us to accelerate our growth. But we need to be very conscious and diligent about how we will use the cash. So we are continuously examining the opportunities which are thrown at what we come across, to ensure that the acquisitions that we look to kind of pursue, they fit in our strategic offering set to the customers. And if they are complementing our growth plan, then we will look for those acquisitions. So as you know, the cash on the books is of the order of about $250 million. And the board is always conscious of the fact of using this cash with a judicious mix of the growth aspirations of the company and return of cash to the shareholders. So we will be continuously engaged on that front, and the board will examine it from time to time. There was a question around the operating and other expenses, which have fallen to about 10% from around 14 to 15%, and how much of it is due to travel and how much of it is due to cost savings arising out of COVID impact and so on. So as you would see that most of the travel has not happened during the financial year 2021. It has just started happening in the last few months in the overseas countries, and India is still not allowing overseas travel freely. So the travel savings plus the facility savings are to the tune of about 150 basis points. That is the kind of savings that currently are reflected in our operational performance. And as we go along, these expenses will come back, though not straight away. In one go, they will happen over a period of time in a gradual manner is what we expect will happen. So we will be continuously ensuring the ability of the company to absorb these expenses and manage the margins. And Mr. Kochia has kindly requested for a hard copy of the report. Sure, sir, we will send it across to you. And thank you for your support. I think we'll come back for any other financial questions. Over to you, Anand, for other questions.
Thank you, Sunil, for answering all the financial and related questions. Next, I'm going to go to several questions that were asked relating to work from home, facilities, pandemic, and how has the world changed. Clearly, this whole year has been an extremely transformational year. The world before pandemic, the world after pandemic, they are going to be very different as we look ahead. Let me now invite Sandeep Kalra, our CEO, to comment about the impact of the pandemic on the business, on people, on employees, on facilities, and generally see what we think is going to happen in the future as far as work from anywhere is going to come up. Sandeep, could I request you to please take on these questions?
Yes, Anand. So as far as we are concerned, when we look at the time gone by, there was a time when the pandemic struck and we had to move pretty much to 100% work from home. We had our global, employees, whether it was India, whether it was US, Europe, rest of the world. Everyone was enabled in record time. And within a matter of a few days, we were all working from home and using platforms like this to interact with each other. As time has moved on, India looked like stabilizing in the middle. A number of our employees, about roughly 10%, had started coming back to work from office. And then came the wave 2. The second wave, hit us badly, especially in India. And it has reset the work from home. Pretty much roughly about only 3% of our employees today are working from offices. The rest of them are working from home. And through this period, we have also made sure we had vaccinated nearly most of our employees here in India. Whoever wanted to have a vaccination, we have ensured we have made them available. Now, as we look forward, it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. We are looking at it as a mix of, work from office, work from anywhere. There would be people who would work from office as, certain core days, core hours, and so on. But it is too early to say as far as India is concerned. In places like US, the situation is slightly different. The number of vaccinated people are far more. In certain states, they are anywhere between 60 to 70% vaccinations that have been done. So it's kind of a, herd immunity, if you may say so, that has kind of set in. People are starting to look at coming back to work and so on. So we believe US will be far ahead, at least for the next few months in this, and then followed by Europe and India. Balance, we'll see how this pans out in terms of overall coming back to work. So that is as far as coming to work is concerned from office. Now, in terms of customer commitments, so there was a question about what commitments we were not able to, kind of deliver to in the last year. So if I look at it, 100% of our customer commitments were kept. It was a matter of time that the customers also realized that whether it was their workforce in the US, in Europe, or in India, they were in the same boat as we were. They also enabled us to work seamlessly with their systems, and we all cooperated very well with each other. So as far as the customer commitments are concerned, 100% of the customer commitments were met. What we do miss is events like this. The last AGM we had in person was 2019. 2020 and 2021 has been a virtual event. Similarly, there are many events that we used to do for our employees where the employees would come together. One of the largest one of which is called Pulse. And we miss those kind of things. But as far as, customer commitments, business commitments are concerned, we've taken care of those. Now we are looking forward to a day where we can have even these events in person and the likes. With that, I'll stop on this topic. Anand.
Thank you, Sandeep. Work from home or work from anywhere has created a new set of opportunities for all of us. I think this could work in very different ways as we look ahead. Many people will move to smaller towns and perhaps work from their houses or traditional places in other cities. So I think let's see how this evolves. I also believe that the way people will use offices will be very different than they used to before they used to come to work. people will cherish the flexibility and new office concepts will come into play as we look ahead post-pandemic. Clearly, a lot of this is not clear and we will see how it evolves as we go along. There were several questions relating to stock split, buybacks, and also deciding on various other financial parameters to adjust stock value for shareholders, and also relating to acquisitions. I'm going to start by asking Sunil to comment a bit on some of these items, and I must say that in our board meetings we do discuss this very often as to when should be the right thing to do, a dividend versus a stock split or any of those other mechanisms. So I'll let Sunil comment a bit on that, and then we'll come back. Sunil, can I take your guidance on this?
Giving some perspective how we look at this in the current context. So, all these suggestions with respect to considering a stock split and the buyback and bonus, these are all the ways in which we can increase the shareholder value. So the first building block to that is consistent growth in revenue and profitability. So for the last several quarters, probably you would have seen about 6 to 8 quarters, we have been significantly keeping our eye on ensuring consistent quarter-on-quarter growth, making the growth more predictable. You would have seen in the earlier quarters, say a couple of years ago, we had quarter-on-quarter volatility in revenue, partly due to the seasonality of the business in which we operate, partly due to the large ecosystem of partners who we work with. So the first and foremost priority was to establish a consistent quarter-on-quarter predictability and ability to scale. You would have also observed that we have added 3,000 employees, as Anand referred to in his speech, in the last 2 quarters, that is Q3 and Q4 of the last year. So the cash flow for the last year was significantly better than the earlier years. And we will evolve the capital allocation policy as we feel that now we are on a better sustainable growth journey. Coming to buybacks, stock split, and shareholder value creation, be rest assured that the board is fully seized of all that you have suggested, and they are the steps in the right direction. It's just a matter of time and how you look at it over a period of time. But be rest assured that it will get the due attention from the board, and we will keep engaged on that in due course of time. There is no particular plan at this juncture with respect to buyback or stock split, etc. But yes, we will examine this from time to time, and thank you for your suggestions. With respect to acquisitions, as I mentioned earlier, we are in a growth journey and we need to have the right war chest available. It is not like very large companies who sit on very large amounts of cash. We are building our growth, and we will definitely require that kind of ammunition to acquire any right opportunities in the market. But having said that, last year we have increased the dividend payout to 33%. We were somewhere at about 29 or 30% in the previous year. So we will keep an eye on that. And as you know, as per our dividend policy, we have up to 40% of dividend payout that the shareholders have known about. And we will look for improving the return of cash to the shareholders after adjusting how much do we want to keep aside for acquisition opportunities. Hopefully that will give you some perspective on where we are in our growth journey. And definitely we will be engaged on all the ideas that you talked about. Thank you.
Yes, let me reassure all the shareholders that clearly we are watching all of these opportunities of bonus, stock split, etc. But the real fundamental value that we create for the shareholders is through the business, by increasing the revenues, improving the profits. And I'm going to ask Sandeep to share a little bit about his point of view, forward looking a little bit, in terms of what do we see as the future for the company and where are we headed and what can be ways for us to get better returns in the future by improving revenues and profitability. Sandeep?
Interweave the questions that were asked. The questions that were asked by Mr. Marathe, Mr. Rishikesh Wagh, Mr. Dinesh, and others were focused around what is our overall focus, what are the verticals, etc. we address, what are the revenue goals for the next few years, role of recruitment in our growth, role of M&A going ahead, geographic expansion, etc., etc. So let me try and weave all of this into, as Anand said, a little bit more forward-looking journey, and again within the reference of what we can talk about. So if we look at it today, our focus is basically on leveraging our digital engineering capabilities, which encompass right from doing product development to doing next generation application development to using service lines, whether they are around Salesforce, around intelligent business automation, etc., to bring competitive advantages to our customers. That's essentially what we focus. The verticals we address, the industry segments that we address, are technology companies, healthcare life sciences organizations, and banking and financial services organizations. And if you study the economy of any country, the money that is spent in any GDP on banking, financial services, and healthcare is among the largest anywhere in the world. Now, we believe that is our current focus. And in terms of, there was a question whether we want to go into other verticals and so on. And from our current perspective, we want to go into the current vertical focus a little bit more deeper. And that's where we will use, the talent from our recruitment engine to fulfill the additional demand that we generate in our customers for working with them closely to generate competitive differentiation for them. Now, in this journey, we will have to definitely look at M&A, the merger and acquisition side, as a strategic weapon. Because if we look at it, the value we bring to our customers is we are seen as people who are always at the cutting edge of technology. That's been our focus for the last 30 years. That's what will differentiate us for the next 10, 15, 30 years. Now, if we look at it from that perspective, we will focus on technologies in terms of cloud, security, data, and the like from a M&A perspective, and maybe use this in combination with a vertical expansion, going deeper into a vertical, or a geographic expansion to expand our revenue footprint in geographies like Europe. Essentially, that is the bigger strategy picture. In terms of where we are headed in terms of revenues, etc., we have publicly stated we have brought a good growth to our overall trajectory. We believe in the next couple of years to 3 years, we should be able to hit our $1 billion mark, giving us a seat at the table to play with even more bigger deals, even more bigger competitors, and so on. So roughly, that is the strategy that we are embarking on. And we have got good tailwinds behind us for the last few quarters to be able to execute on this. With that, I will stop. Back to you, Anand.
Thank you, Sandeep, for explaining our strategy and what we look ahead. I must just point out a few things here in the following way. If you look at technology during this pandemic, all of you would have observed that we are using technology more easily, more frequently, and all over the place. Just imagine if this pandemic had happened 20 years back. Without the access to Zoom, internet, video, cell phones, we would have had a very difficult time. So technology has really been one of the major saviors for us during this COVID pandemic. And it is very clear that all industries and companies are investing in technology for the future. And this is where it creates great opportunity for companies like Persistent, and we are on top of this. So thank you, Sandeep, for sharing your vision and your ideas on how we are looking at the opportunities ahead for us. I hope we have answered all the questions to your satisfaction. If you have any clarifications or additional questions that you would like to ask, please write to investors@persistent.com. We will address these questions offline. I would like to now request our team to play another short video for you.
Drawing from the 30 years of digital engineering experience and deep expertise in the latest cloud technologies, we've worked with our clients to imagine, engineer, modernize, and manage software needed to run digital businesses.
What reinvention means? Well, for me, it's changing old patterns and habits into new ways of doing the things. Last year, 2020, was a year of changes. It was a challenging time for everyone. We learned in record time how to do the things in different ways. We found new methods of working and we evolved. But the most important thing was that we succeed in personal and in a professional way. To keep pace with the incoming forces of change, the ability to reinvent ourselves has become a necessary and essential skill for success. This pandemic tested us, yes, but now, as a result, we have decoded the reinvention formula. We need to embrace these changing times and keep reinventing ourselves. There is a famous quote that says, "Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself." So we need to continue changing ourselves to keep reinventing us. Thank you.
You know, about a year ago, we all got hit by COVID. We were quite worried about our ability to attract and deploy the best talent. We worked on sharpening our employee value proposition as part of our journey of reinventing our approach. We added additional engines of hiring. We scaled the talent numbers to drive business growth, and we stepped up the skilling of internal teams so they could add value to themselves and in turn adding value to our client relationships. Having said that, you know, the journey of reinvention never stops. We do new tactics on a daily basis to create a great working environment for our engineers, at the same time add best value to our clients. Thank you.
Last year was indeed the year of resilience, relationships, and reinvention. Because of our commitment to these three guiding pillars, we are able to not only survive, but thrive in an increasingly isolated world. While our planet and civilization heal, we continue to march towards our ambitious goals. We hope you are as excited about the future as we are.
We wish to inform you that pursuant to Section 108 of the Companies Act 2013 and the rules made thereunder, the company has provided a remote e-voting facility for its members to cast their votes electronically. The remote e-voting period was open from 12:01 a.m. just after midnight on Sunday, July 18, 2021 until Tuesday, July 20, 2021 till 5 p.m. Further, as stated in the AGM notice, those members who have not cast their votes through remote e-voting may cast their votes through e-voting for 30 minutes after the end of this meeting. Members who have already cast their vote through remote e-voting are not allowed to vote again. The scrutinizers will submit the consolidated report on the e-voting to the company by Friday, July 23, 2021. Once the said results are submitted by the scrutinizer, the company will immediately communicate the results to BSE and NSE, and those will be further uploaded on the website of the company and will be shared to NSDL. Subject to the receipt of requisite number of votes, the resolutions shall be deemed to be passed on the date of this meeting, that is on July 21st, 2021. We have now come to the end of the formal meeting. I am glad to announce that we at Persistent Systems recognize our social obligations and as responsible citizens have earmarked funds out of our net profit for giving donations to certain qualifying institutions and organizations. In April 2020, the company committed to contribute rupees 25 crores, approximately $3.3 million to support COVID relief. These funds were to be used for supporting communities globally with food, rehabilitation, treatment, vaccines, medical equipment, research, and other support for medical professionals. I am proud to state that Persistent Foundation has already deployed most of these funds very effectively. The average net profit of the company within the meaning of Section 135 of the Companies Act 2013 for 3 consecutive financial years ended on March 31st, 2021 is rupees 4,923.31 million. Therefore, the 2% contribution of Persistent Systems towards its CSR obligations is Indian rupees 98.47 million. This amount will be donated to Persistent Foundation, who will deploy these funds for a good social cause. Let me now request Mr. Pradeep Bhargav, Independent Director and Chairman of the Corporate Social Responsibility Committee, to hand over the ceremonial check to Mrs. Sonali Deshpande, Chairman of Persistent Foundation. I would like to request Mrs. Sonali Deshpande to come over to the stage to collect this check. We have come to the last part of this meeting. We had more than 120 members participating in this meeting today through video conferencing. We are grateful to all of you for participating in this meeting. I hereby declare this meeting as closed. We will play the national anthem, after which you may disconnect from this meeting. Thank you very much for attending this meeting. Take care and stay safe. Now let me request all of you to kindly rise for the national anthem.